Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back again. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. We are broadcasting live from just north of San Diego, California. Staying with some really good old friends of mine. And we're going to be interviewing Julian in the second hour. But I just want to let you know that we're talking about gardening here in Mississippi. And anywhere you are, if you're in the South, that's mo better because we're mostly Southern. So, Java, how you doing, man? You getting enough rain this week?
Man, I have a nice little puddle in front of my yard, and I'm surprised the ducks haven't taken it over. That's how much rain we've gotten.
You know, and by the way, you said your yard. You know where yard comes from?
No, enlighten us.
It's an old English word, gordos, G-H-O-R-D-O-S. Gordos meant a guarded area, sort of enclosed area, special area set aside with a fence or something. And a gordos eventually became garden. It became guarded, which became garden, which became yard. You know, we say yard. That's just slang for garden area. By the way, gordos also became hortos and horticulture, courtyard. So when you're talking about horticulture or gardening, you're talking about doing something in a special place. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad to be here on MPB, because we're talking about gardening in the South, in Mississippi, which is our place, whether it's your yard, your garden, your community, your state, your world, your whatever. It's a special place, and we gardeners try to take care of it. Horticulture try to help us do a little bit better job, but we don't need them horticulturists. We just gonna have a nice little yard and garden.
No, there you go. But where you say you in San Diego?
Yeah, just north of San Diego. You know, I was stationed in San Diego back during Vietnam. I was on the aircraft carrier. A lot of people don't know that. And when we weren't at sea, I worked at a little garden center. And I really learned about cacti and succulents and tropical plants because San Diego is frost-free. You know, it's like being in Miami, except without the humidity. It's cool. It gets up to maybe 75, 80 degrees or so. It always cools down at night. Always. Matter of fact, I'm real chilly right now. Never frost. Weather never changes. They only get 10 inches of rainfall a year. But here they can grow all sorts of tropical stuff. You know, you can park your truck under a rubber tree or under Schefflera. You can grow orchids hanging off of your front porch. It's a different climate, but the gardening is the same. Whether you're in Mississippi, whether you're in England, whether you're in California, Colorado, wherever you are, gardening is the same. We're trying to grow stuff and get the most out of it and please ourselves. So that's what we're here for today. So I've been gone about a week though. And I watered everything good before I left. Did you say it's been raining all week?
Yeah, it's been raining off and on, I think, since maybe Tuesday. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about the water. I mean, it's gotten plenty.
Of course, that's what somebody said. You don't have to worry about watering right now. And I'm thinking, yeah, right now. But I do have a couple of, before we really get into see if I can find my little picture thing. Here we go. Could I get who's our live stream producers today?
We have Abram, we have John C. Marissa's on the phones.
Well, if I could get them to put up right off the bat. And by the way, folks, if you're not on live stream, you can check this out anytime. You can come back in the middle of the night if you can't sleep or whatever, need something to put you to sleep. If you go to either mpbonline.org or go to YouTube. and in the search box, do Gestalt Gardener, you can see this stuff. You can also see this beautiful background setting I've got. But if I could get them to put up picture number 1, I loaded this up ahead of time because I thought it was going to rain. This is a picture of one of the most quintessential tools in my garden. And a quintessential means it only does one thing, but it does it so well, you don't know how you do without it. And this is an MPB rain gauge. They got the picture up?
Yeah.
MPB rain gauge. And I put it out there because, several of the weather, the Weather Channel guys and the local weathermen, I know several of them, and they're great guys. But you know what? I don't trust them. I want to know what it does in my garden. So what I do is I put a rain gauge out there, and after it rains, I go out and I look at it. And it's kind of weird. It not only measures exactly how much rain I got. I don't care what it did at the airport. It shows me how much rain I got in my garden, but also connects me. When I go outside, I walk out, I feel things. I feel the humidity. I feel the temperature. When I walk across, do I get my feet wet? Do I stay on the pavement? You hear things. You hear the birds. You smell things. All your senses come into play by simply going out and checking your rain gauge. Sort of like putting bird seed in a bird feeder. You don't have to get that complicated to go out and enjoy all your senses in the garden. The rain gauge not only connects me physically, but also mentally. So I kind of keep track. So anyway, that's just one of those quintessential tools. And there's a whole bunch of things like that. A hoe is a bucket. A hose is a quintessential tool. But I want to show something that I did before I left. Picture number 2. Excuse me. I've got a little garden with my granddaughters.
And for the people, for Abram in the back, is actually picture number 1B. 1B.
Oh. You didn't load up the other ones I sent you, did you?
No, you sent me they're basically the same pictures, but they just have different numbers on them.
Okay. Well, the second group I sent you is in a different order too.
Okay, so, I got you.
Anyway, we got that up. What I did was, because little Allie doesn't really know stuff, I took some water bottles and I punched tiny little holes, teeniest little holes in the bottom, and I buried it beside her plants. And then I spray painted it brown to look kind of like mulch. And all she got to do is go out one day a week with a little water can and fill the water bottle up, and it'll slowly trickle out the holes in the bottom. So once a week, all she got to do is fill that bottle up, and it's going to water the plants right down at the base. It's homemade drip irrigation.
Now, what kind of? That's just a regular water bottle?
Yeah. I put the tiniest, you have to almost make a pinhole in the bottom. And when you fill it with water, it may take it 30 minutes or an hour, but it slowly drips in and it goes down around all the roots. Instead of first standing there, watering it, running off and all like that, it puts water right down at the root. And you can do this a tomato plant or anything. In this case, it's her new blueberry bush. I planted several blueberry bushes for her because she wanted blueberries. Anyway, a little homemade drip irrigation by punching a hole in the bottom of a plastic bottle and sink it into the ground. And again, I spray paint mine to be brown just because that's the way I roll.
Brown is a color too.
It is. And before we, there's a hummingbird over. I'm sitting in a garden full of hummingbirds and stuff and lizards. I do have one more picture to show before we get back to some stuff. Picture number 3, and I don't know what picture you got, but it's a dry creek waterway. Can you see that? I
think that's going to be 1C. Yeah, we're going to get the pictures flipped, but that's 1C.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
Well, this will be the last one I show. This is for people who have areas where the water runs really fast. It causes erosion. You can make a little shallow ditch, maybe just 3 or 4 or 5 inches deep, but about 3 feet wide, just a little depression. Put some landscape fabric down and then cover it up with rocks, little rocks, a few big rocks here and there to slow the water down. And it looks like a creek when it's dry. It's called a dry creek waterway. It just looks like a rocky little creek bed. And when it rains, it channels it so it doesn't erode, it doesn't spread anything. So it's part of the landscape even when it's not raining. Just a little low, wide ditch with landscape fabric with some rocks on top. And this is for folks who have too much water part of the time, and part of the time they just want to look at some bare dirt. Dry creek waterway. So anyway, I've been talking a lot because I'm excited. I've been looking at some fantastic gardens, getting some good ideas, some fun stuff. But mostly, I'm sitting outside at 7 in the morning. It's chilly, and I just got T-shirts on.
That's what I'm about to say. You're actually up a little earlier than usual.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'll be done earlier too.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
it is a call-in program. I'd like to remind folks it's toll-free 1-877-MPB ring. If you got some things you'd like to talk about, give us a call. Job, I don't know if we got any callers or not, but what's it looking like?
No, not yet. And actually, we're kind of on time, so we can go ahead and take our first break of the hour. Sometimes we have to blow through it, but we'll take our first break, and then we'll come back and see if we can muster up some calls.
Okay, I got some really creepy stuff to show when we come back, but folks, if you got some things on your mind, I know you're worried about your tomatoes staying too wet right now, and it's spreading diseases and leaf spots and things in the lawn. If you got some questions about that, give us a call. I promise I'll do my best to answer it without trying to tell you anything. So again, horticulturalist Felder Rushing, me and Java Chapman and the other folks at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. We're going to take a real quick break and come back with more.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you have hated, they go on about their business. Who care of us?
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing and Java. Let's go right on up to Oxford and see what Mark's got on his mind. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Morning, Felder. Hi, I'm still learning roses, and I let 2 of mine that are nice and pretty and fragrant grow a little too big because I was just hate cutting back stuff. And now they done got, one of them's it's almost laying on the ground. It's got big shoots, and it's been put down all kind of weight. And can you trim them back right now? Is it fine? I just don't know anything about trimming roses. Yeah. Dang.
Sorry about that, Mark. I think we lost Felder a little bit. We having some difficulties as he's out there in San Diego touching stuff he shouldn't be touching. So just hold on for me, Mark, and we'll try to get him on for you.
All right.
You're listening to the Gestalt Gardener. We're going to take a quick break and try to get Felder back together on this Friday morning. But if you want to be like Mark and ask a question, 1-877-MPB ring. That's 1-877-672-7464. It doesn't have to be about trimming roses, but it can be about anything happening in your garden, maybe some of this recent rain that we got. So, you know, if you want to talk to Felder, I promise we're going to get him back. 1-877-MPB ring. That's 1-877-672-7464. More Gestalt Gardener after this quick break.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business. Care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Java, how we doing, man? We still got Mark with us?
Yeah, Mark is still holding on. Appreciate that, Mark.
You're welcome. You there, Felder?
Hello.
I think Felder keeps touching stuff. There we go.
Okay, Mark, sorry about that, but it is a shrub rose, not a climber rose, right?
Yeah, it's a shrub rose, not a climber.
Okay. If it's an ever-blooming rose, you can pretty well prune them anytime, throughout the summertime. I wouldn't prune them past the middle of the first part of the middle of September because they don't have time to bloom again. But anytime you want to, if you cut them back further than you want to, wherever you make a cut, that's where the new growth comes out, right there. So cut them further back so they sprout back out. It'll be on a sturdier, shorter stem. And then you can actually prune that new growth to make it branch out. So anyway, you can prune repeat blooming roses all the way up until the middle of September, so no problem.
Okay, good deal. I was wondering. I don't want to cut off what you don't know.
Okay, man, nothing to appreciate your call.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, and sorry about that. Now, Felder, I told you we had a full bank of calls, so let's keep things going on, and let's talk to, who's this, Justin in Boonville.
Justin, what's going on what's going up in your neck of the woods?
Felder, long-time listener, second-time caller. Listen, the wife had sprayed the neighbor's barn on the fence and killed it. So now we moved on. She's got a greenhouse. Yeah. She's got a greenhouse. So she started this greenhouse this year. And now she's got 40 tomato plants that we've set out in our small garden. And I started doing the math, and I'm thinking 40 tomato plants, 10 tomatoes per plant. That's 400 tomatoes. At what point does the government get involved? And she's going to need some sort of USDA approval for this stuff she's growing. Like, it's way too much. What are we going to do with it?
Yeah, I think you have to have a commercial license if you plant more than 5 or 6 tomato plants. But here's the deal, and by the way, I appreciate your enthusiasm because a lot of folks don't have that. A lot of their tomato plants just don't make it because it's always good to have extra for insurance. But anyway, have they started blooming yet?
Hannah, have they bloomed yet?
Yes, sir. They sure have.
Okay.
We're in trouble.
Well, it's just a matter of doing the best there are different ways you can you can make tomato sauce. You can cook it and get it boiling, and you can can it. There's also ways you can throw it at the neighbor's cats if you want to. But keep in mind that tomatoes, when it gets really hot, I'm talking about mid-90s and stays there a little bit, tomato flowers typically fall off. These plants are native to cooler parts of the world, and when it gets mid-90s, the flowers and sometimes the little tomatoes drop off. So get them while you can, is what I'm saying. And if you got some excess, put them out on the curb and say free tomatoes.
We're going to be Italian by the end of the month.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Well, good luck with it. By the way, let me throw this out for other folks who might be concerned. We do have a lot of people with trouble with tomatoes planted in the spring because with the rain and the humidity and stuff, they tend to get leaf diseases. It's really good to remember, though, we can plant tomatoes in Mississippi up until the first week in August and have a really good crop in the fall when it's drier and cooler. So a lot of people give up on tomatoes. They plant them one time like a farmer. But if you can replant again in June or July, then you'll have the most incredible production in the cooler months of September, October, early November. So if yours peter out, don't give up on them.
Sounds like 800 tomatoes.
Elder, don't encourage it.
Now, I've always heard if you count your tomatoes, they'll all fall off. So just don't get too excited about it. There's something about counting the chickens before the eggs hatch. Good luck on it, y'all.
All right. Listen, we're weekly listeners to your show. We appreciate everything you and Java and the Mississippi Public Broadcasting team does.
I appreciate. Hey, let me ask you this: Have you checked out the live stream where you can see the pictures we've been showing?
We have. We actually were setting out the tomatoes, watching it on YouTube. Now, listen, we're addicted to the Gestalt Gardener.
Okay, y'all need to get a life. Appreciate
right.
your call,
Nice
Java. We got some strange folks listening to us. You got to watch what you say because some of them, they take you seriously.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Justin and his wife out there in Boonville really, really appreciate that. And watching the YouTube out in the garden, now that's pretty special. Now let's keep things going. I told you, Felder, we got a full bank of calls. Here's Ann in West Tennessee.
Morning, Ann. How close to Memphis are you?
We're equidistant between Memphis and Nashville.
Okay, near either further east in Jackson.
Yes, a little bit. Hey,
okay,
I have a question for you, and I don't want you to worry about being able to help because it might be too late. But we have a mature photinia bush. I'd say it's probably 8 feet or even a little more tall. But
It's a photinia. Is it like a red tip photinia?
Yes, sir. The red tip. So with the ice storm, it really suffered, and I didn't think it was going to come back, but it started coming back, and I didn't worry about it. But it's really not leafing out that well at all. And I thought probably it should have been cut back earlier, but is it too late to cut it back, and how far should it be cut back, or is there any help?
These are actually really good questions. And keep in mind that folks who are listening to this, you can't apply this to conifers. Things like junipers and cedars, you can't prune this hard. But broadleaf plants like photinias, hollies, azaleas, things like that, you can cut them to a foot tall if you want to, and they'll sprout back out. So keep in mind, wherever you make a cut, the new growth comes out right there. So in the case of your red tip, if it's got a bunch of branches, cut them back as far as you can. There'll still be branches. It's still in a kind of a shrub shape. The lower branches longer than the top branches, but you can cut it back into a Christmas tree shape without a leaf left on it, and it'll branch out perfectly well, and it'll actually be invigorated. Pruning not only takes the stress off the plant, but it stimulates new growth. That's because the roots are intact. The new growth comes out really, really fast. See, so pruning is a good thing. So it's called rejuvenation. I wish we could do that to ourselves sometime, but you can cut it back as far as you want. But instead of cutting it straight across like a tabletop, cut it in sort of generally a shrub shape, and so that when they branch out, it'll look more natural. It won't hurt. And you can do this up until, in your neck of the woods, probably till the end of July, and the new growth will come out fine.
Oh, that's wonderful news. You should never give up hope when you've got the Gestalt Gardener on your side. So thank you so much.
Let me give you one more tip.
All
if
your
you help. Really far, there's no leaf left on it. It's going to take a little bit longer. The further back you cut it, the longer it takes for the new growth to come out, but the more vigorous it's going to be. I think it's a good idea to go back when the new growth gets a few inches long and just snip the tips, the last leaf or two off of it. And instead of those branches, those new shoots getting long and tall like willow sticks, if you'll snip the tips off, they will branch out. See, so prune it hard. And then after new growth comes out, it's called tip pruning. Just cut the last little tip out of each of those branches, and they'll bush out real well.
Okay, you do that right away at the initial pruning, though? You don't wait a little bit?
No. When you cut them back, you cut a red tip back where there's not a leaf left on it. It's going to take a few weeks for the new growth to come out. When it does, it's going to start growing fast. Let it get a few inches long, the new growth, and snip the tips off of that, and the new growth will branch out.
Perfect. That makes that crystal clear. Thank you so much, and you all have a good, safe holiday. Just thanks for being there.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Java, she mentioned the holidays, Memorial Day weekend. It's kind of weird. I want to say, people say happy holiday. Well, Memorial Day is really not so much of a happy thing.
That's right.
It's almost a solemn, respectful thing, because respecting the folks who've given everything for their country.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say have a meaningful, not sad or anything, but a meaningful Memorial Day. How about that? We need to come up with a better word than happy.
That's right, yeah. But, it's got attached to the beginning of summer and, barbecues and stuff. So.
As a matter of fact, our friends up north, like in Indiana and Minneapolis, we always wait till Good Friday to plant. They wait until Memorial Day. They're just now getting around to planting tomatoes for the first time. And we're already starting to pick tomatoes in some cases. So anyway, who else we got on the line?
Well, we got some more tomato talk. Let's talk to Jerry in Bay Springs.
Morning, Jerry. What's up?
Hello. Yeah, my old Aunt Leslie used to say, you break those suckers off and plant them, and you'll have a brand new tomato plant. And you know what I'm talking about? It's the little thing between the main branch and another branch.
Yeah, they're called suckers.
Yeah, that's what she called them, and I've tried that before. Now, I look at people that say they can't grow tomatoes. I look at them funny, but apparently I can't root them too good. So I put these suckers in some water with a little bit of sugar in there, and wait 3 or 4 days and try and transplant them.
Don't do the sugar thing, just the water.
Okay. It doesn't always
and by
work,
the way, the suckers root best. When they first come out, they're really, really tender. When they get a little bit bigger, they don't root as well. So get them when they're 4, 5, 6 inches or so long. Don't let them get big and thick. Root them when they're still kind of small, and they root a whole lot better. But you don't need the sugar.
Okay. You put them in the water, and for how long, you think?
Well, it might take it a week and a half, 2 weeks for the roots to start forming, maybe 3 weeks, but 2 or 3 weeks at the most. And if the water gets nasty, change it every now and then.
Oh, okay. I've been doing it after 4 or 5 days.
Well, you mean changing the water?
No, I'm talking about I've been transplanting them after 4 or 5 days.
Oh, no. They'll grow roots. They'll actually sprout roots in the water. You'll be able to see them.
Okay. That's what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Aunt Leslie would have said you're doing it too quick. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Jerry.
Man, the calls keep, as they say, the hits keep rolling, Felder. Let's slide up to French Camp and talk with Lisa.
Lisa, good morning. What a cool little town you live in.
Good morning. Thank you. I agree with you on that about French Camp. I have a transplanted peony. When my mother passed, I got the peony out of the yard, planted it, and it went from 1, and I've broken it up, and I've got 6 now. And over the years, it has bloomed great. It's the older type, big, full blooms, big white blooms. They're beautiful. And this year and last,
they have a little splash of red down there, white with a little splash of red.
Yes, they're gorgeous.
That one,
that
is an antique. It was introduced around 1860 or so. It's called Festiva Maxima. It's probably the best peony for Mississippi, for the northern half of Mississippi. Festiva Maxima. It's a great one.
Well, I love it. And I'm missing the blooms. Last year and this year, it produced buds, and then the bud itself just turned black.
Yeah.
What's going on? How can I fix it?
Well, horticulture is when a flower bud doesn't quite open, it dies. We call that bud blasting. I don't know why I call blasting, because it doesn't blast. It just turns brown and falls off. The thing about peonies, they really do better. Well, the Peony Society is in Hopkins, Minnesota. That'll give you a clue. So peonies really like a longer, cooler season. Not a cold winter, but a long, cool spell. Festiva Maxima is one of those that blooms in Mississippi because it doesn't need a long spell. But if it gets really hot all of a sudden, or hot and humid, or rainy, that flower bud doesn't open quite. And needs a long, steady, cool season, which we often don't have in Mississippi. So sometimes it's just going to be, sometimes just be that way.
Well, would it do better could I put it in a pot where I can move it in and out of the house?
No. Festiva Maxima has been grown all over Mississippi, the northern part, for generations. It likes to get morning sunshine. It doesn't really like hot sun. Again, this is a plant that does better in Indiana than it does in Mississippi. So if it gets some sunshine, which it needs, but protection from the hot afternoon sun, it'll still bloom well, and it's less likely to blast because of that. We have some hot days in this early spring. So if you'll put it where it gets morning sunshine and then leave it alone, once you just put them in a spot, just leave them alone, then most years it'll do fine. Some years it won't.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. And one other thing. If you read about peonies, they like to be planted deep, not in the south. Where we live, plant them real shallow, because if you plant them deep like they do up north to protect them, they'll rot. So don't plant them deep. Plant them, we're pretty well level with the ground around it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks for your call.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. In French Camp, Felder, do you know where French Camp is?
I do. French Camp is right on the Natchez Trace, north of Kosciuszko. As a matter of fact, they've got it's a private academy, and years and years ago they moved an old house. I think one of the founders of French Camp, they moved an old 2-story farmhouse from several miles away, and I actually did the landscaping around it. We did a period landscape from the 1800s around it. But it's right on the natural, cool little place. It's like a tourist destination. They got astronomy. The thing of the big telescope things.
A telescope?
Yeah, but it's in a building. What's that called? A telescope building.
Oh man, I know exactly what you mean, because the roof opens up and all of that kind of stuff. I can't think of the name of it though. Yeah,
they got one of those there. Anyway, I've been to French Camp a few times. So anyway, we got any more calls, or we got to do some cheesy tune, or what?
Well, we're gonna clear these calls. We got a few more, and I'm curious about this next one because we had a question on the YouTube about bamboo in Hattiesburg, and now I see a call from Mike in Hattiesburg, and it says bamboo. I wonder if this is the same person. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Same guy. I wasn't sure the chat was working.
What's up, Mike? What's up, man?
Well, I bought an old house, and I was blessed with several large clumps of bamboo, and this is not the kind that runs wild. It's the kind that clumps.
Right.
And it's real pretty, but I had a spot that had some pretty hard winters, so I took it up with a backhoe, which is about the only way I know to get them out there.
Wait. You just happen to have a backhoe laying around, right?
No, I got a buddy who's got a backhoe laying around.
Okay. Welcome to the South.
I'm sorry?
Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
All right. Well, now I got a wet spot, kind of low, kind of shady, and I need some kind of ground cover, and I don't know what to try. You got any ideas?
Yeah, well, is this in the shade or sun?
It's pretty shady. Maybe 30% of the morning sun, and that's about it. The rest of it's shade.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because, there's not a lot of ground. There's ground covers for the shade. The ground covers wet areas and dry areas, but there's not many choices of things that will do all of that because in Mississippi, it tends to, when it rains, it stays really wet for weeks at a time, and that can cause root rot to some plants, and then it dries out, and the plants don't have any roots on them. They can't make it to the drought. So it's that combination of too wet part of the year, too dry part of the year that gets a lot of plants. What you might want to do is is this very deep hole, very deep in the middle?
No. It's pretty much skinned off level now.
Yeah, and you can't you can't put a little low wide ditch to drain it away a little bit?
Hadn't thought about that, but it's pretty flat. I might be able to get a little bit of drainage out of it, and I'll just have to go look at that. I'm in a pretty low area.
Yeah. Here, let me throw out a couple of ideas, and these are just things that I've seen in other places. First of all, you could haul in some topsoil, not sand, but some just plain old dirt dirt, and spread it out and sort of fill it in, and then you're done with the issue. And all sorts of stuff can grow. Just make me almost like a little low wide baseball pitcher mound to allow for settling. That would fix it once and for all. The other thing is you could go with it where it stays the wettest. If you'll dig it out just a little bit deeper and put that dirt to one side, you'll have an area that holds water for a few days. And there's all sorts of Louisiana irises and things that grow around that stay wet part of the year and dry part of the year. But maybe you could find an old log or a stump or something and drag it out there and put it right in the middle of it and just use it as a natural feature out there. Instead of trying to grow stuff, if you'll put like an old log or a stump or something and then put you some ferns around it, then that'll most of the year look pretty good. But put a little accent out there if you can. By the way, it's called a stumpery. I've got a stumpery in my yard. You just haul a stump and some logs, put you some ferns and some hostas out there, and when they bloom, they look great. When they're not out there, you still got the stump to look at.
I've got a tree in the yard right now that's on auto prune. It's died and the limbs are falling, and I might be able to use that.
There you go.
All right, I'll look at the drainage thing and look at that. The rest of the yard it's a real old yard. It wasn't maintained for a while, but it's a mixture of St. Augustine and volunteers.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would encroach on it a little bit, but it's too early to know.
It could, in general, and this is just a general thing, if you've got more than 50% shade, the grass is going to peter out unless you, and I sound like a broken record, grass makes its living from sunshine. And in the shade, there's not that much sunshine. So if you mow it really high or don't mow it often, then it's got more leaf blade to collect more energy, and it's more like to run. The runners, the new growth on grass is made out of sunshine. And if you don't have enough sunshine, it just peters out. But if you'll raise the mower up, St. Augustine blades are wide enough to where they can catch a good bit of light even in the shade. So mow on the high side, and that'll help a little bit.
All right.
But also keep in mind, it's okay to have a yin-yang thing. You could have you could line up, make a little path and line it with fallen limbs on one side to make it look like a path. And here's where the grass is, here's where the path is, here's where there ain't nothing but shade.
Yeah. That's a good idea. All right.
Yeah, break it up. Don't have to have wall-to-wall carpet out there.
No, but I do. It's pretty nasty right now. It reminds me of what my dad was an oil man, and when they'd clear a location for an oil rig, you know what that looks like. That's what this looks like. Okay. I appreciate it.
If you get a chance, we can develop. If you get a chance, shoot me an email and send a picture. We can come up with some more ideas. It's hard to just draw pictures that on the radio.
I hear you.
Shoot me an email.
I'll do it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
What's up, Java?
Yeah, no, that was kind of fun because I saw Mike. He left a something in the chat, but then he he's decided to just take the initiative.
He got impatient. Is what happened.
And make the phone call. Now I do want to say, Steve in Memphis, Rebecca in South Haven, please hold on because we got to take a break. Felder, you've been running them for a little while, so let's take a quick little cheesy tune break.
All right, folks. I am broadcasting live from Vista, California, just north of near Oceanside, which is, by the way, where I went to kindergarten when my dad was a Marine. I went to school in Oceanside, California, went to 5 years old. Anyway, sort of full circle. We're going to come back and talk about gardening in the South after just a short break. I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing here at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with more after this.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. I got some really funky pictures on our show, but meanwhile, we're on a roll with the callers. Who we got, Java?
Let's go to Memphis and talk with Steve.
Okay, good morning. What's up?
Good morning. Hi, Felder. I've got 3 2 or 3 year old pear trees. I don't know when I planted them, but they're young. And last year they did what I thought young pear trees should do. They blossomed, and I got a couple of pears, no big deal.
Yeah.
This year, none of them blossomed at all. And I have friends here in town that had older pear trees that blossomed. I just want to know, A, did I do something wrong, or is there something I could do different to encourage them to blossom?
Well, it's a good question. Assuming the trees are okay, and be sure to check out the base. Make sure they haven't been hit with a lawnmower or string trimmer or something like that. That's the worst thing to do in any kind of tree. A lot of times a young tree will produce, they have this thing called biennial bearing. I'm not making this up. I was raised in a fruit orchard. In a plant, whether it's young or it's old or stressed, it produces 1 year, it'll maybe skip a year. It's called biennial bearing. Right. But I would suspect it's more likely we had a late frost that killed the buds or something like that. If we have a really hot, dry, long late summer and fall, the flower buds may not form very well. And if they form very well, we can still have a sudden hard freeze. It's not the cold that'll get them, it's the sudden cold. And so it might have just been something like that. What I would do this year, though, I'd concentrate on getting the tree in good shape. If you'll go in and thin some of the clutter out, you got a trunk, you got some main limbs, got a bunch of branches. Any branches that are growing inward, go ahead and cut them off. Don't leave a stub, and just only leave stuff that's growing up and out without leaving stubs. This will invigorate the tree. What's left will get the energy to what you cut off. So since they're young trees and they're not producing this anyway, let's go ahead and thin them out and invigorate them and make them a little bit sturdier. If you do that in the next month or so, everything will be fine. So just take advantage of it. Anything that's growing, if you imagine holding a baseball in your hand with your hand pointing up, with your fingers pointing up, take the baseball out, you still got an open, almost like a bowl. That's kind of what we want to look at. Anything that's growing inward, or any two branches close to each other, just go ahead and thin them out. This is a good practice. All commercial growers do this.
So even though I pruned it already in January, I can go ahead and do some more pruning. It's okay. Yeah.
Now, and by the way, if you pruned it all the way around, keep in mind the flowers are on the ends of last year's growth. So when you prune them, always leave some tips unpruned. The main thing is just thin out any clutter and any branches or even twigs are growing inward. Just cut them off, and the plant will be a lot more vigorous.
The blossoms, I did not know that. The blossoms grow on last year's growth, so cutting off the ends of all the real long stuff is not a good idea.
Yeah, they make flower buds in the late summer and fall on the ends of what grew. So if you cut the whole thing overall, there go a lot of your flowers. So leave some of them unpruned.
Gotcha. Okay, that's useful. Thanks.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Oh, by the way, have you been to the Dixon Art Gallery and Garden lately? You're in Memphis, right?
Yes. I have been there. I have not been there this year.
They got a big grant last year, and there's no entrance fee anymore. It's got one of the coolest gardens in Memphis. So if you get a chance, go out there. And if you see anybody, tell them Felder said hey.
I've been meaning to go there with my granddaughter. I haven't made it yet.
Oh, there's some cool stuff. She'll love it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Felder. Appreciate it.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thanks,
What's up,
Steve.
Java?
That was, and Steve may be our last call for the hour. We got hour number 2 rolling up. So we're kind of wide open right now.
Okay, well, let's throw up a couple of real pictures real quick. One of them is really creepy. Picture number 4 is called a shovelhead flatworm. And a lot of people call them hammerheads. Tell me when the picture's up.
No, that is, I can't believe that is a worm.
Well, it's not a worm. It's called a flatworm. They're completely different. They're like from Venus. They're a completely different creature. You cut them up into pieces, and each piece will grow into a new one.
Wait
and
a
it's got
minute.
this little, and it's slimy like a snail or a slug. Anyway, people are saying, "Oh, they're horrible. You need to kill them because they are toxic. They have a neurotoxin. If you eat one, it'll poison you. So don't eat them." But anyway, shovel-headed flatworms, there's a lot online about being dangerous and invasive, and they eat earthworms. They do eat worms, but not many. And there's a lot more worms. This is a cool creature. It's been around a long time. I studied them when I was a teenager, but they're really just creepy looking. looking, and they live where snails and slugs live. They don't eat that many worms. They're not that big a deal. There's no need to kill them. And I see all this online alarmist stuff. Anyway, let's put up the next picture, number 5. Susan and I were at a Waffle House last week. I had some bacon that looked like a cooked show.
I was about to ask, are they, I mean, they look, okay, just for full disclosure, that is not a fried flatworm. That is a piece of bacon that looks like a flatworm.
Some people say, well, just put salt on them. So there's no need to kill these things. They're not that bad. There's a lot of alarm. They're not that bad. Don't eat them. Don't lick your fingers if you play with them. Don't play with one. They don't eat that many worms. Not that big a deal. But I saw a piece of fried bacon that looked like a shovel head or a hammerhead. I just couldn't resist it. Sorry, Java.
Are they beneficial though? Like you said, people want to kind of get rid of them, but do they?
No, they're not really. I mean, they do eat worms. They'll eat each other, but they're creepy. They move slow like slugs, and they're just creepy and they're slimy. And they bother people, but they're cool. All God's creatures and all that stuff. If you're not bothered, just ignore them. They're okay. They're not horrible like a lot of these people write about. They're just writing because they want to sound important. Anyway, when I saw that bacon looked like what I could resist. And folks, if you're not on live stream, if you're not on YouTube or mpbonline.org, you're not gonna know what we're talking about.
Oh,
so check it out.
You have to see it.
Yep, it is. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, Java. When we come back, we've got plenty of folks we're going to be talking to the next hour. But I'm going to interview the guy who I'm staying with when we come back. One of the coolest horticulturists in the country, and I just want to throw that out. We're going to have a good time with it. There's well, I guess we need to wrap stuff up.
Yeah,
I will say, I've been enjoying a lot of night light in California. They spend a lot of time in their gardens at night. And so they have night lighting. It's really cool how they uplight certain trees, and they don't have runway lighting. They just have lights here and there so you can see steps in the walls. It's just a real cool little thing at night. I really enjoy my night lighting. We can talk about that, but we're going to take a break and come back with more of the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting. Me and Java and all the folks in Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we really appreciate you joining us. We got another hour of this, so we're going to come back with a little cheesy tune. I'm going to show some weird stuff about this plant we call night blooming cereus. It's a great old pass-along plant, but I got some surprising things to share with you. And we're going to interview one of the top horticulturists in the country, cool guy named Julian Duval. I'm staying with him. We're going to come back with more here on MPB right after this.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Hour 2 of the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting. And it's a live program. We're going to be taking your calls. In just a few minutes, I'm going to interview one of my a really, really good friend of mine named Julian Duval, who I'm staying with. But before we get into that, let me remind folks, this is Memorial Weekend. It's not a somber thing. It's a reverent thing. And being a veteran myself, my son's a veteran, my dad's a veteran. And we appreciate the solemnity of the weekend. Also, a lot of people may or may not realize that one of the earliest celebrations of Memorial Day was in Columbus, Mississippi, at Friendship Cemetery there. I think it's Friendship Cemetery.
Yes, it is. It's Friendship.
Wonderful cemetery. And it started because the women in town decided they were going to decorate some of the soldiers' graves. And they decorated both sides of the conflict, the graves of both sides, and somebody wrote a poem about it. Anyway, that's sort of where Memorial Day got kicked off. So I hope you have a respectful holiday. And Java, before we get into my interview, Do we have any callers?
No, we don't, but we do have a question on the chat. And as always, want to remind our YouTube viewers, and you can always send a question through the chat right there on YouTube. And let's see, it is from Felicia, and it may be a simple question. A willow tree coming up close to the garden, is it okay for it to be that close? Also, do I prune any?
Oh boy, that's a good thing. Two different questions, and one's going to be contentious, but I'm going to stick with my guns. First of all, willow trees do have a really good, wide-ranging, almost a fibrous root system, and they will get into the garden and suck everything out of that garden. But it's real easy to fix. If you'll go out along the edge of the garden, take a shovel and just cut straight down about a shovel depth. Most of the roots are going to be just a few inches deep in our climate. So if you'll go ahead and just make a little ditch, and every year or so, just cut straight down. Any roots that are on the garden side will die, and they'll become actually soil improvement. But that'll start it over again. But every now and then, do a little root pruning between the tree and the garden. That'll be fine. The second thing is, as far as pruning it, Java people talk about this thing called crepe myrtle, where they prune crepe myrtle back and it just look like fist. It's called fist pruning, and there's a Japanese term for it. Don't want to get into it. But in England, they routinely prune willows into sticks with fists on the end. They cut them back the same knobs every year, and it's kind of cool looking. It's called pollarding. But get this, in the wintertime, when they cut them back, those long willowy things they cut off, they use them to weave fences with, those wattle fences. So you can cut a willow back into something that looked like Dr. Seuss would have come up with. Just stems with balls on the ends of it. It's a sculptural thing as well as pollarding. So every Shinto temple in Japan has got trees done this, including crepe myrtles. But pollarding is real easy to do. With willows, they respond very quickly, and the new growth is nice and healthy and nice and willowy. So I turn it into a sculpture like that. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that'll help out Felicia. And as always, our chat is always a friendly space. So if anybody else has anything that they want to chime in about, they can add it to the chat. Also, before we leave YouTube, want to say good morning to Rita, checking in from Olive Branch. Says good morning, Felder and Java. Good morning from Candy, talking about her garden and how wet it is this morning. Also, Margie in Harpersville and Pamela in Harleston talking about it is raining cats and dogs there.
Well, it's not good news for people with tomatoes out there, but it's great news for me because I planted a bunch of stuff right before I left for California, and I was hoping it would rain at least once. But John, let's throw up a couple of pictures. They got the new numbered pictures sent, right?
They do. We got it corrected.
Okay. Let's put up picture number 9 because I'm going to use that as a way of introducing my guest today. This is what everybody calls night blooming cereus.
Pretty flower.
Okay? Everybody
Very
knows
pretty.
it's night blooming cereus. It's what it's always been called. It's not a pretty plant. The plant makes my hair look good. Okay?
Wait, I said it was a pretty plant. It looks pretty to me.
Yeah, but no, this is just a flower. When the flower opens, it's just stunning. And a matter of fact, it opens fairly quickly. It used to be a excuse for parties. Eudora Welty used to have people come over to her place and sit on the porch watching the night blooming cereus bloom and talk about everybody who wasn't there. But anyway, it's not really cereus. It's epiphyllum. People just call it that because the flowers look like that. But let's show picture number 10 because I saw this day before yesterday. This is one of the we think of just the same old white one because that's what everybody has because they got it from somebody who got it from somebody. But there's so many different kinds with colorful flowers. And just want to show, here's one that's red and yellow. And that's blue, just to show you that just because you got that old white one you got from Aunt Mamie, there's some others out there too. We got a fella down on the coast who grows maybe 40 different kinds, and I'm going to get me some. Anyway, just want to throw that out. But I want to use that Java to introduce a fellow. Julian, come on over here. Put up picture number 11, if you would, please. And by the way, I appreciate John C. and Abram and Marissa, live stream producers. Well, let's get on in here. Scoot in close. You're not scared, are you?
Well, a little bit. But...
Yeah, a little scared. Not a little scared, a little nervous, but not scared. This is Julian Duval. We got picture number 10 shown up. This is 11. This is me and Julian in his backyard. needless to say, Java, that ain't a fig tree.
No, it is not. You stand back.
Well, Julian's got, and his wife, Leslie, I've known them forever. Julian was the president and the, not CEO, it used to be called Quail Botanic Garden. It was a little branch that turned into a quail preserve. And Julian, I think you were the first president of the Quail Botanic Garden.
Right, first director, president, CEO, don't matter, but it's all the same thing anyway. Yeah.
He turned it into to what was celebrated not long ago as one of the top 10 or 20 botanic gardens in North America, not United States, North America. Cool little place. Is a real gem. We'll talk about that later, but I want to show picture number 12 of part of Julian's garden, because you retired now, right?
I'm retired, not retarded.
And,
working on the ladder.
Leslie found a property, because they used to live at the Botanic Garden, San Diego Botanic Garden now, and they found this place on top of a hill with a bunch of rocks, and the house was built around these rocks. But Julian, you brought, I just want to show some of these tropical plants. Part of your garden just looks like a jungle, because you worked in jungles.
Yeah, I grew up in the Midwest where there wasn't any jungles other than what you could see in a conservatory maybe, but there was always a fascination for me, and I did get to live in Latin America when I was in the Peace Corps many years ago, and I'm just fascinated with things that grow in the tropics. Yeah.
And you ended up at Quail Botanic Garden. You turned it into a wonderland, not just of collecting plants, but also conservation and you've gotten several awards from the American Horticultural Society, from the San Diego Horticultural Society, from folks for your conservation efforts of preserving plants that be lost.
Well, you're right. One of the purposes of botanic gardens, particularly in this day and age, is the fact that they are repositories for certain plants that become rare, in certain instances that don't even exist in habitat anymore, only exist under cultivation.
I was at a place called Lotus Land up in Santa Barbara the other day, and they have a collection of sago. Java in Mississippi, we grow a plant called sago. They call it sago palm.
Sago palm, yeah.
Looks like a palm. Yeah. Well, this place has probably one of the largest collections of sagos on earth. They have 3 of their oldest specimens, and I don't know how they're huge, but they're the last remaining specimens of these plants on earth, and all 3 of them are males. They don't have any females. This plant is like the last of the Mohican sagos wise. And and so they're keeping plants alive that will be extinct otherwise. But anyway, I wanted to ask Julian this thing about, we call them night blooming cereus. Do you call them epiphyllum? What?
Yeah, that's, well, the queen of the night is another name for that,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, right, exactly. And they grow well outdoors here, of course. A lot of things do, and then but they're night blooming.
Yeah.
But the more colorful, I think, the more colorful epiphyllums that you see, and they're very popular throughout Southern California as well. They're all day bloomers.
Yeah,
and
we grow those in pots. We have to bring them in the wintertime.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, but that's a big difference between, because in fact, I remember a friend of mine. He remembered being in grammar school, and his teacher, he said he could always tell when his teacher had the night blooming cereus blooming in the night, because she would stay up late at night to watch it, and she'd be real crabby throughout the whole day in school.
Well, one of the things, Java, I wanted to Julian to confirm that. I tell people all the time, they don't need big pots. And I took this picture, picture number 13 of a cereus, what we call night blooming cereus, just hanging out of a tree. It's a cactus, but it lives just like Spanish moss. Julian, I mean, you just have them just stuck in crooks and crannies of your tree.
Yeah, I like the whole, what they call epiphytes, those plants that grow on other plants, typically trees. They're not parasitic. They don't derive anything from that tree, other than the fact it's a place to be, a perch for them, if you will. And there's a whole variety of cacti that exist in the tropics. We think of cactus as being desert plants, but there's probably as many that live in the tropical areas that become epiphytic and whatnot, like your cereus, the night blooming cereus, and all the epiphyllums.
Would that also apply to what we call Easter cactus, Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus?
Exactly.
They hang out of trees like Spanish moss.
Exactly.
And people say, "Well, I got to water it and fertilize." No, you don't.
Yeah, they do require a fairly, humid environment typically, but yeah, they're up there. They don't need a lot of soil or any soil typically for root room. Now their roots are mostly to attach to a surface to hang on. So fall out of their
like orchids. So anyway, people. Well, I want to show. We put this next one, picture number 14. You got again what we call night blooming cereus with a bromeliad hanging off of it. You got tropical plants hanging off of tropical plants, hanging off of tropical plant. Could we do this could you have done this in Indiana if you had a sunny, humid window?
Indoors, yes, you could. In fact, if you had a greenhouse, and of course, and we did when we lived in Indianapolis, and some of the plants that I have in the garden here now, in fact, were brought with me decades ago, and and they're a lot happier here now that they've adjusted because they got more space outdoors.
They feel like they're at home. Well, which brings me to this thing. We're going to skip down a couple. I want to show picture Java. You can be surprised about this. Let's put up picture number 21. This will surprise you. Tell me when it's up.
All right, I'm trying to see. What is that? Is the you showed that last, or is this the same tortoise from last week?
Hey, look at there, tortoise. Right, it is.
Got it right.
Tell us about it. While we're looking at this, put up picture number 22 and tell us about Sam.
Sam was well, I've always had a fascination with reptiles. I have to confess to that, and turtles were always a big part of that for me. So. Back when I was in 1966, I'll reveal a little bit about my age right now. When I was about 18, 19 years old, I knew a fellow it was legal to do this then. He had imported some baby Galapagos tortoises.
Yeah, these are the ones that get big, like
they get big, right? Exactly. Well, he was about the size of a grapefruit when we got him. And my youngest sister, I lived at home, I'm oldest of four. My youngest sister, who's about 7, she fell in love with this baby tortoise, and he became her special friend in the world. She treated him as if he were her pet dog or cat, really. And he kind of he responded to that, because one of the things about these guys is the fact that where they come from, the Galapagos Islands, they actually get groomed by birds and maybe even crabs, and they kind of like being petted.
So like a cat, and like to crawl up in your lap.
Yeah, right, he wouldn't quite do that. Well, Sam would actually, because one of the things that Sam became so impressed with this treatment that he was receiving from our little sister that he exemplified this desire to be around people. He became a pet. Now, the problem was, we lived outside of Chicago. Sam could only be outside the house for about 3 months out of the year. There was a time he had to be in. Well, 3 years later, he's no longer the size of a grapefruit. He's more the size of like a big watermelon. Yeah. And so my mother comes to me and says, I don't care if that's your sister's tortoise. You brought it home. You find another home for it. This is a house, not a barn.
Okay, you with us on this, Java?
Oh, yeah, no, from a grapefruit to a watermelon.
For 9 months out of the year.
What would Crystal say?
Oh, well, no, see, Crystal is a different type. We would have made some space.
Yeah, well,
yeah. The mother and the son relationship is a little different, probably, but anyway, so I wrote, this is back in 1969 now, so we write letters, right? And there was a group called the International Turtle and Tortoise Society located out here exactly. Back then even, and in California. So I wrote a letter. I got a letter back from this woman. She says, well, sure, I'd be happy to give Sam a better home and a climate where he could be outdoors.
So you put it on a bus?
No, I won't put him on an airplane, actually. American Airlines flight, in fact. So we sent him. And then my sister, my sister, she corresponded with Lois Dixon for like 10 years. Because this is letters, letter back and forth, And then we lost touch. Dixons moved. We didn't know where they were, and my sister, of course, grown up and whatnot. But it was in 2012. I'm looking at a San Diego Turtle and Tortoise Society newsletter.
Oh no, there's a San Diego Turtle and Tortoise Society.
And Sam was on the front cover.
These guys.
And Sam was on the front cover.
It was in it. There was a picture of a woman with 2 big, huge Galapagos tortoises. And I'm looking at the picture, and all of a sudden I look at the byline, and it's Lois Dixon, and one of these tortoises is Sam. 40-some years later.
40-something years later.
We have a reunion. My whole family came out to have a reunion with Sam. Yeah.
Well,
and well, anyway, but then Lois was getting up in years that she needed to find a home for Sam. Sam came to live at the San Diego Botanic Garden. Now we didn't have a place to put him on display. In fact, he was too friendly to people. You'd have to supervise him with people. Not the fact that he would hurt people. People might hurt him inadvertently.
It was kind of creepy. He would scurry up to you. And we're talking about something that's half the size of a Volkswagen.
You know how much he weighed? We had a little contest one time. We got the public involved in guessing his weight and whatnot. We got a big scale to put him out. Guess how much he weighed?
No idea.
He weighed 560 pounds.
Ooh.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of turtle soup.
Now, Blair, you said he lived at the Botanic Garden for a while. Did he ever eat something he wasn't supposed to?
Yeah, well, there was one. Well, we didn't have him on display, but you know what we did, because he was perfect for this. We used him as a therapy animal for people with special needs. Now that sounds funny, but
Java, say I'm in California without saying I'm in California. A turtle is a therapy pet.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. But there's a lot of places that deal with people who have special needs, whether it be physical, mental, whatever. They use animals because animals, well, the same way as gardens. You know this better than anybody. When you go on, you solace in the garden. It's true for everybody. So everybody needs therapy, I think. But anyhow, so people with special needs would come and we'd have special sessions with Sam, and he was perfect for that.
Yeah.
But he did one time. One of the things we have to deal with in California is fires, right? So we had to be prepared for what we would do in case we needed to evacuate for a fire. And so I told my sister, who, not the same sister, a different sister, was taking care of Sam at the time, says, well, let's cut back on his feed because this is fire season. And if he's hungry, we can more sure to get him out. We can't lift him up, right? He's too big. Lure him into the, so
here's Sam.
Yeah, and he would follow that. He would do that. So anyway, one time my sister comes running. He says, he's gone. What do you mean he's gone? He had this big corral. I said, God, he can't be gone anyway. So we're looking around for him, and sure enough, he knocked down. He's had a lot of traction, Anyway, so he knocked down the barrier of his corral and ran over and started eating the cactus out of the garden.
Now, Java, you know my Susan.
Yeah.
We were out here years ago, and Julian let Susan feed Sam cactus, but she used some long tongs because she said his head. Susan's not a snake person. She said it was like a snake coming out of a rock. But she fed Sam with some tongs and eating cactus. But the long story short about this, he got the tortoise, gave it to his sister, ended up in California. He ended up in California, found it, and ended up writing a book called Too Big to Lose.
Too Big to Lose.
Yep, Leslie Burling Duval.
The story of Sam, yeah. And you know who gave us the title for that? Because my wife put the book together. Well, what made the book kind of crystallize and came about was the fact that Lois Dixon, the lady who had Sam over these decades, and she saved all the letters that my little sister sent to her. So there were 22 letters. Nobody in the family ever read these letters, in fact. So we get the letters to read for the first time decades later, and this little girl is pouring out her heart about how she was so happy that Sam had a home with somebody who loved him, because her mother was hollering at her because Sam was stinking up the house. Anyway, so the letters are kind of stimulated the idea of telling the story about Sam. And then the person who came up with the title for the book, this gentleman right here.
Too Big to Lose.
Too Big to Lose. He was the title for it.
It's a Java. Only on Think Radio are you going to get stories like this.
That's true. Now, also, you mentioned Lotus Land out there in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have on the YouTube chat, Pamela, she just she said she's been to Lotus Land. It's very beautiful. And they just finished renovating their Japanese garden when she last visited.
Yes, they did. And they're also coming up with a sustainable, they're making it where it's going to be completely off the grid, their own electricity, their own water and everything. But I want to show this because I know we got a break coming up. Let's show picture number 16. And this is going to be like 4 pictures in a row. Picture number 16. This is part of Julian's succulent garden. He's got cacti succulent from all over the world that grow right here. And of course, I've been to the Huntington Botanic Garden. I've been to Lotus Land, Quail Botanic Garden, San Diego. The way these succulents are being used is shapes and textures and colors. And we have some that are perfectly hardy outdoors in Mississippi, and I've got a list of those. But let me show picture number 17. Java, you've never seen this. You know about me and bottle trees, right?
Yes.
Well, when in the South, you're talking about bottle trees, you're talking about putting milk and magnesia bottles on a stick. Well, this is a real bottle tree. I don't know what, is it called, shaped like a bottle or what?
Yeah, in fact, that's somehow these pachycall trees, thick trunk trees anyway, it's a survival strategy for storing water in areas that don't have reliable rainfall. And
so when you go online and do bottle trees, you're going to come up, this got a big fat trunk. But picture number 18, this is got 2 more pictures. Picture number 18 is a row of bottle trees, an alley of bottle trees. This is the Huntington Botanic Garden. When you walk in, so this is an alley of bottle trees. You with me on this, Java?
It's like a 12-pack.
Yeah. Well, I want to show it. That's what it is in California, an alley of bottle trees. Picture number 19 is an alley of southern bottle trees at a botanic garden in Texas.
Yeah, a little different.
This is our version of bottle trees, right?
I get you. I know. Okay, and I appreciate that. I think that is a wonderful thing to do in the garden.
To bring it right back around, we're coming up on our break time, but let's show picture number 20. This is one of the glass sculptures at, I still call it Quail Botanic Garden.
That's all right.
Because the nice thing about your botanic garden is it has plants in nice little combinations, but it also uses artwork, things that captures people's attention. This is picture number 20. If you can put that up, just to show an idea that it ain't all just bottles on sticks.
Now, because
this almost looks like something Dale Chihuly would do.
It does, yeah, right.
Well, I call bottle trees redneck Chihuly.
Because my next question was, how many bottle trees have you seen out there in California?
I haven't seen any bottle trees, but a lot of guys.
Take you one today. I know where there's one, a good one. I'll take it to you.
Okay. Well, we're coming off our break, but I just want to say, with all that in mind, between Julian, you and all the incredible work you've done in San Diego and in the horticulture world, and Leslie putting up with you for all these years. Bless her heart. And y'all say, oh, grab that little turtle. Quick, because we got a break coming up. Just want to show you the kind of people that I hang around with, Java. He's got turtles. Can I pick it up?
Sure, you can pick one of these up. Yeah. They're not very, don't squish them.
I'm not. Look at this, Java.
I see it.
They have turtles. They have to separate the males and the females because they keep getting together and making baby turtles.
There you go. I mean,
these are the kind of people I hang around with, Java.
Life finds a way.
I want to honor my longtime friendship with you. I brought something special from Mississippi for you and Leslie for your garden. It's an honest, authentic Mississippi Phillips milk and magnesia bottle for your yard.
Look at that beautiful blue color.
So Java, I'm trashing Southern California out now.
Just a little bit of Mississippi everywhere you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Milk and magnesia is bottled in Pascagoula, Mississippi. They have a plant down there.
This is an antique.
It is. They have a plant in Pascagoula, Mississippi that keeps 1.5 million people a day working.
Whoa, look at that.
Milk and magnesia working.
Well, Felder and Julian catch up. We'll see y'all on the other side. This is Gestalt Gardener right here on MPB Think Radio.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian,
sorry about that, Felder.
We believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business. Care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar's right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Welcome back, folks. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and we had Julian Duval, and we could talk for hours about fascinating stuff about horticulture. Julian is one of the best known in the country because of the work he's done in Southern California. But anyway, and by the way, he used to do a TV thing when he was at the zoo in Indiana, got an Emmy for a TV thing from a zoo. Anyway, we're going to talk about gardening for the next last part of the Gestalt Gardener. If you've got some calls, toll free 1-877-MPB ring. Glad to yak with you. So, John, what we got going on, man?
Well, I was about to check on the YouTube chat, and let's see. What does it say? Arden. Oh, Adrian. We have Adrian Adrian in the chat. And she says, my worlds have collided. I grew up in San Diego and went to grad school at SDSU for botany. We had classes at Quail Botanic Garden on occasion.
Cool. And by the way, we talked about Lotus Land earlier. Next week, I'm going to get more detail about that. Fascinating stuff. But just to give you a real quick idea, let's put up picture number 23. This is just an example of the kind of cacti and succulents that you'll find in places like that. They also have an orchid, a bromelia collection, an aloe collection, and a whole lot of topiaries. Anyway, fascinating stuff. Well, I'm going to talk about that after I wrap up this trip out here next week. So,
I do have a question that just came in through the what is this? The email. I can't even think right now.
Java, I'm rubbing off on you. Old man syndrome is rubbing off on you, Unc.
I know, really. Let's see. It says, hi, Felder. I live on the north shore of Little Lagoon in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I'm learning that maritime marsh elder, and then they put the Latin name, Iva frutescens, grows super easily in my yard, and I see it all around other nature trails near the lagoon bank. I aim to learn how to propagate it. Can you tell me how? About 2 months ago,
marshland. It was marshland what?
Let's see, maritime marsh elder.
Okay, maritime marsh elder. I'm doing the young people thing. I looked it up real quick. I can't even find it on here. I think she's making that up.
No, Iva. Let's see. It's IVA.
There we go. Iva frutescens.
There you go, frutescens.
Frutem native.
There you go. She said about 2 months ago, I cut some stems, stuck them in the ground, watered them lots, of course, and they took off in a healthy direction. And but I haven't been able to duplicate the process. I very much appreciate your input.
Okay, I don't know about propagate. I just looked up the thing I found. It doesn't say anything about it. It's a good habit. It's good for caterpillars and butterflies and nesting birds and all. But I don't have any. I don't know how to propagate it. It may grow from cuttings. If it spreads like I think it does, it may be easy to divide. So if you got some small plants, you might want to divide them. But unless it's flowering and fruiting, you're not going to be able to grow from seed. I just don't know. I might have to look that one up for next week. Don't know how to propagate it.
Okay, well, it happens sometime.
Yeah, it ain't ivy, it's Iva frutescens.
So okay.
So anyway, just want to propagating paste. I'm doing something propagation. I'm propagating through seeds or cuttings. Okay, cuttings, semi-hardwood cuttings, late summer. So let the new growth kind of toughen up a little bit, not where it's real floppy and all. Wait till mid-summer or so and take cuttings of that. And just rooting in a well-drained potting soil like you would any other kind of cutting. We all learned something right there thanks to the internet.
There you go. Now I have another question from the email. It's about blackberries. Let's see, Felder. Okay. What is the Felder, what is the best way to control blackberry vines that are popping up in my lawn? Why you laugh, man?
Because it's all over my place. I put on gloves and pull it up, and then I put on gloves and pull it up again. I keep pulling it up. If you keep pulling it, you'll eventually peter it out. But meanwhile, it has underground runners, the rhizomes underground. So if it's coming out on the lawn, you're going to need to take a shovel and cut straight down between where it's coming from and the lawn, and then pull up everything that's on the lawn side. There are some sprays you can use, but they're safe if you use them right. I'm thinking glyphosate. A lot of people don't like using herbicides, but if you'll brush it on just the foliage, it only kills what you put it on the foliage of. It's not going to hurt your soil or anything. But cut down to stop the rhizomes from spreading and pull up everything on the side you don't want it on. And just keep pulling, put on some gloves. Keep some gloves handy. And if you stay on top of it, Java, when you pull something and walk away, it comes back. But every time it comes back, if you'll pull it, stay on top of it, you'll eventually peter it out. In other words, don't pull it once a year and then let the new stuff get established. Keep pulling and it'll peter out. Not any fun, but keep in mind that this is a horticulturist. I'm retired university extension horticulturist. If there was anything that worked better, I'd do it myself, but it ain't. So put on some gloves and just start pulling. Sorry.
Now this is
that's the reason I was laughing, Java.
Yeah, I got it. But they also asked a question. They said many of the blackberry vines are in my liriope beds that makes manual, removal very, very difficult.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to my world.
Well, the last question.
Here's the thing. Again, if you pull it up, right now, when we're getting plenty of rain, the ground is soft. If you wait till it stops raining, pull it up while the ground is soft, you get a lot of that rhizome. But it's real important to come back in a month and a half or 2 months and pull up the new growth before it gets established. So the trick is pulling it and staying on top of it. And when the ground is soft and moist, it's easier. You get more of it when you pull. Anyway, if there was an easier way, trust me, I would do it in my own yard, but it ain't. Look at my arms. See my arms? This is because of blackberries. Okay. Sorry, Java.
No, it's okay. Because also
I got carried away there, didn't I?
I mean, but we often talk about pulling up, of the weeds and the vines and stuff, and there's no really magic sprays that if you don't want to go scorch the earth and kill everything, you have to get down there and pull up what you don't want.
Let me use one of my similes. It's sort of like me and Julian's eyebrows. If there was a way to keep them from sprouting, then Susan and Leslie would do it instead of having to pluck us all the time.
There you go.
Sorry.
Now, last question, because it's kind of a twofer. This person is in Mobile, and they said, "Is it okay? It should be simple. Is it okay to fertilize St. Augustine on the Gulf Coast?"
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, because I know there's some silty soils down there. Most are sandy. Nutrients don't last very long on the coast because of the rain and the sandy soils. It's really important to put some nutrients into the system every now and then. A lot of people in these small towns, churches, cemeteries, schools, they don't ever do anything and the grass looks okay. But if you'll fertilize at least every 3 or 4 years, and that puts the nitrogen into the system and it recycles with the grass clippings. I would go to a garden center and ask for the stuff they call centipede food, centipede fertilizer. First and third numbers are the same, with 0 middle number. It's slow acting, it's long lasting, it's got everything the grass needs, winterizer, everything. But if you'll put out some centipede food sometime in April or May, at least every 3 or 4 years, then it'll recycle in the clippings. If you've never fertilized, you ought to. If you fertilize more than once a year, you're doing it too much. You're just buying in to a sales gimmick. But at least every 3 or 4 years, put some centipede food out. That help?
I think it did.
Okay. When you go quiet, I can't tell if I pushed the button and I bumped us off the air again.
No, we did get a few more of 2 things. We're getting ready to go to a break, but we also got a few more chats on the YouTube, and of course, Sean the gardener checking in from Cornwall on YouTube. Also,
shout out to Southern. And by the way, Java, let me say this: he's in Cornwall. That's Southern England, right? People in the south of England talk about Northerners, like people in New England talk about us Southerners. So he's a Southerner, bless his heart. We're glad he joined us anyway from Cornwall. And by the way, Cornwall is where that classic pirate accent comes from. Arr, that's Cornwall.
Really? That's not authentic pirate?
Who would make that up so fast?
That is true. I mean, that's kind of a one.
By the way, you know what the pirate's favorite letter of the alphabet is?
C.
I've told this before, haven't I?
Oh, okay. I was going to say R.
R. No, it's a C. Anyway, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Take us to a break. I'm getting giddy.
Yeah, no, let's go ahead and take this second cheesy tune break. It's been a crazy show, but we've been okay.
What's cheesy tune is it that we're running? I forget.
Let's see. I think we did. You sent 2, and I did the worms.
I'm gonna eat me some worms. Okay.
So let's do vegetables.
Vegetables, yeah. This is Vegetable Blues. I'm a horticulturalist, Felder Rushing. Me and my awesome producer, Java Chapman, and all the folks at MPB, a live stream producer. We appreciate you joining us. We'll be right back with more of the Gestalt Gardener right after this.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
righty, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. And we got any calls yet, or can I show a couple of pictures?
Show a couple of pictures.
Okay, these are two really, really exotic flowers that are blooming right now in Mississippi. Picture number 6. And a lot of folks know about ginger. We grow different kind of gingers, including the one they call butterfly ginger. It blooms in the fall. It's got a white, tall plant with really, really fragrant white flowers. But there's one called hidden ginger, curcuma. It's called hidden ginger because the flowers are down in the foliage. Well, there's one particular one called turmeric. Everybody, is supposed to eat turmeric to keep you healthy and all like that. But picture number 6 is the flower of the turmeric, which is blooming at the herb garden that I take care of at the Agriculture Museum in Jackson. Hidden ginger, curcuma, but this one's called turmeric. It's got a really, really exotic flower. It's drought tolerant, dies down in the winter, comes back up. So if you want something kind of interesting, this is the good plant for the light shade. And then the next one is picture number 7. This is believe it or not, it's a climbing lily. It's called Gloriosa lily. And it's a vine. It's not rampant, not like honeysuckle or wisteria. It needs a small support, but it looks like flames. But Gloriosa lily is perfectly hardy in Mississippi. A lot of people don't grow it because they don't know about it. And those who see it think this can't possibly grow in Mississippi. But this is the plant that's in bloom right now. If you got a place for a small vine, Gloriosa lily is really, really exotic, perfectly hardy. So that's just a couple of unusual flowers. And Java, the reason we don't see this in more people's gardens, because garden centers don't sell them, partly because they don't look like anything in a pot, but also because nobody asks for it, because nobody sees it. But if you ask a garden center for, they can get these plants for you through their normal channels. So I just want to throw out some of the kind of plants that are a little bit unusual that would be more popular if more people grew it, more people would ask for it, more garden centers would carry it, more people would grow it. That's just the way it is.
Now, speaking of
really exotic stuff.
Well, I was just about to say, speaking of exotic, and you being out in San Diego on the West Coast, and I think I've asked you this question before. What's something that you see there that you would love? It probably doesn't grow here, but you would love to transplant to, your garden in Mississippi.
Oh boy! I don't know where to get started. I worked in garden centers in San Diego half a century ago, and I was raised out here when I was kindergarten. There's a lot of succulents and cacti. They don't need all the water. They do well, but we have a lot that are not hardy in Mississippi. We have a whole bunch. I got an entire cactus and succulent corner in my garden, but I wish we could grow some of the more interesting succulents there. Partly because they're weird, they're bizarre. Partly because they're fun, they're easy to propagate. But partly because they don't need any care at all. If you can keep them getting rotten from too much rain. So, but there's one. Let me show one last picture here. I think I'll put up picture number 15. This will surprise you. This is in Julian in Leslie's garden. Tell me when it's up there, Jama. That is a fig.
That's what I had to say. What is that?
It's a baseball-sized fig. They grow. There's a lot of different kind of fig. The fig we eat, the edible fig. There's a whole bunch. Rubber tree is a fig. Fiddle leaf fig is a fig. But this is Julian. What's the name of this great big fig you got in your yard?
Auriculata.
Auriculata. Is there a folk name?
No,
Julian, he doesn't know folk names. He's one of those science speaking type of guys. But it's a huge tree. It's as big as a fig tree in our yard, but the figs are the size of my fist. So, I like something like that where you can just put it in your, well, I don't think you can eat all of these. But anyway, here's the deal, Java. I travel a lot, live in England part of the year, travel around the country, around the world. Everywhere I go, I see stuff that I wish I could grow, but I'm happy with what grows in Mississippi. They can't grow okra in England because it ain't hot enough. So let me see, I could grow a lavender or I could grow okra. Well, you can't fry lavender and put ketchup on it like you can okra. So everywhere I go, I see something that I wish would grow in Mississippi, and I realize they see stuff that they wish would grow where they're from. So grow where you're planted, and go visit stuff and leave what you see there. Don't try to grow lavender in Mississippi.
Yeah, don't do that. Where now? I know Julian, he's kind of like right there off camera, but I see those beautiful gourds behind you, man.
Gourds? Oh, yeah. Big gourds. Gourds. Gourds will grow in Mississippi. I've got a whole bunch of gourds, but Java, I've got. You see this big round, looks like a you can make a basket out of it.
Yeah.
You can. I have a gourd at home that I cut little metal wings and I stuck them in the side, so it's a gourd. These look like angel wings, and I call it my Gordian angel. And I think the last time you were at the house, you had Java Jr. with it. He found my thunder gourd that makes like thunder when you shake it.
Oh yeah, no, he was working the thunder gourd to everyone's delight. I'll just say that.
We have Mississippi has a chapter of the American Gourd Society. Real interesting folks. They're not as interested in growing them as they are in decorating them. It goes way back, and indigenous people in Mississippi made all sorts of things, not just ornaments, but also for dipping water. I still have the dipper gourd, long-handled dipper gourd in my kitchen that my great-grandmother used to move water from a rain barrel to her tomatoes. So they're practical, but also incredible artwork, incredible art. Anyway, the American Gourd Society has a chapter in Mississippi. I used to have a bumper sticker on my truck, Java. Every plant society has a handbook on how to grow, how to show, how to display theirs, whether daylilies, whatever. And then the rule for displaying these things, it's always, in the case of daylilies, if you're doing a flower arrangement, a floral design with daylilies, the first rule is daylilies should predominate. Whatever arrangement you're using, that plant should be the main show. Well, I found a bumper sticker for the American Gourd Society. I had it on my truck a long time. It says, "Gourds must predominate." And there's no telling whether people I was trying to start a new political party or something.
I think the green truck was a highlight enough, but there was probably another point of contention.
Gourds must predominate. They probably thought I was weird instead of just having a bumper sticker for the American Gourds. Anyway, there's Julian was talking about the tortoise, Southern California Turtle and Tortoise Society. I'm actually a member of the British Cactus and Succulent Society.
In Britain?
There's a group for every weirdo. I think I've talked about this before, Java. Those who collect different kind of plants, all daylilies or all irises or all gourds or all whatever. They're like the people who collect shot glasses when they're on holiday. I talked about this last week with Rick Griffin. He collects shot glasses, whiskey glasses from all over the country and world, and you look at them, and they all look just alike, except to shot glass people, and everyone is different. It's got a story with it. Anyway, that's the way plant collectors are. We're shot glass collectors with different kind of plants instead.
Well, let me ask this one last question. We got into the email, garden@mpbonline.org. It says, "Hi, Felder. What is a good way to get rid of ants in potted plants? They seem like..."
Ooh, that's a good one.
They seem to like the potted mint and potted rosemary, but they also get into the others. She said, "The potted plants are in my driveway, not on top of soil." Yeah. So, here we go with a few myths. I've read that cinnamon or citrus oil repels them.
Yeah, ants are just like, you could irritate ants, to move. You could use almost anything that's scented, that's got essential oil, and it just makes them uncomfortable, whether it's orange peels or whatever. But you need to zest them. You need to rub them up to release the oils. Just but orange peel is not going to help. But any kind of essential oil is going to just make them unhappy. It's like having a neighbor with loud music. So if you can make them unhappy, there are some insecticides, some safe ones. There's one that's called spinosad. It's a natural material. You mix it with water and you pour it in there. Unfortunately, that'll kill the ants. And if it's fire ants, I don't have a problem with that because they're horrible creatures to us in our gardens. But mild insecticides, natural things like spinosad or pyrethrin will do a good job. But sometimes just watering them, will irritate them and make them move. So you can make ants move by just irritating them enough.
Now, kind of a question I have, and Christy asked this question as well. Are they harmful to the plants?
Well, yeah, they can over aerate the soil. If they they fluff the soil up so much. it'll make the soil a little bit drier. So I know we're at the end of the program. How much time have we got left?
We just got about 45 seconds, and I see you moving. You on the hunt.
I just want to show you a little bit of this garden that I'm in. Can you see all that in the background?
Yeah, if you pan a little bit to your right, because I saw some big rocks.
Oh, yeah. Julian and Leslie live in a house that was built around some rocks.
Take us home, man. We got about 20 seconds.
Okay. Folks, I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing. You listen to the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you get a chance to take a kid to a garden center, get a big pot full of some culinary herbs and show them how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty. See y'all next week.